We have some massive catalysts in the market that you should be paying attention to. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and do you know what it's called when you wear banana peels as shoes on your feet? Slippers. All right, we're going to take a look at the economic calendar. We're also going to put up some of the earnings that I think are going to be worth paying attention to as massive catalysts. So those two things, and then we'll also go into the charts on that along with some of the stocks, including Bitcoin, that I've been following recently on this channel. So let me put this up here for you. We have some Fed speeches today. Tomorrow in the market, 8:30 a.m., we have a PPI measure, so producer price index coming up for us. That can be signaling for us for inflation, and we're looking for soft numbers coming in there for the market to rally a little bit stronger from where it's at right now. If we come in way above expectation, that's going to be something that's going to be crushing in the markets. We also have Jerome Powell coming out and speaking as well at 10 a.m., so be on the lookout for that too, for some of that commentary. It could be that we don't really hear a lot either way for that speech, but it's still something. He is somebody who can affect the market, so we're going to be watching for that. Wednesday, we get CPI numbers as well, and we can see the numbers expected to come in lower than what we had the previous month when we look at the core inflation rate year over year. So we'll see if we get those softer numbers, and we were pumped up a little bit last year in April, so this could be something where it gives us a higher baseline to go against, which makes it easier to come up with slightly softer numbers. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. Mind you, getting down much closer to 3% would be much better for us, but for core, it's harder to move that number as easily on a year-over-year basis. And then when we look at the inflation rate year over year, also expected to come in about in line with what we had the previous month. So those are some of the biggest things that we have coming up this week. And then we also have initial jobless claims. We got to be looking out for that. And then on Friday, we have one more Fed speech to look forward to at 10:15 a.m. And then if we bump this over to the earnings calendar, so let me click on that for you. You can see a few things here. Dillard's coming out and speaking for us. Home Depot is going to be a huge one. Cisco Systems, Walmart, and John Deere. So the three big ones that I would actually name here: Home Depot, Walmart, and John Deere, signaling what's going on in the U.S. economy, especially with the consumer, and where Deere is concerned, that would be more of the construction infrastructure side of things. So we want to look for strong earnings coming from them. That would help the market stay bullish and continue us moving upward. If we get soft numbers and soft guidance coming out from them, and if we hear talk about inflationary pressures and contracting margins, those are things that would send the market downward. So I'm going to be looking for those as well. So with that said, I'm going to move over to the markets to see how they're moving today. So we're going to kick things off with SPY. So I'll put my chart up here for you. And you can see I have this yellow line in here. That's what we need to not only come up and retest, but we need to overcome that line to avoid a double top. Got to be on the lookout for that when we're above the 50, and the 200 is way down there at this point in time, all the way down here at 471. So we're in bullish territory. We got bullish momentum going on, but the inflation numbers and the retail earnings that we have are definitely going to be impactful for what we see this week. And so we're going to be on the lookout for those, and then also the Fed speeches, including Jerome Powell, coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Be on the lookout. So QQQ, there we are. So the peak that we have to overcome is way up there, about 449, just shy of 450. And you can see the indecision that we had on Friday's market with that candle where we had that narrow body, and then we had the long wicks top and bottom. And so right now that's being battled out. In the pre-market hours, we are up a little bit, but like I said, it's still anybody's call, anybody's game this week. Looking forward to what we have coming up as catalysts. They are massive and they will move the markets. So Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin doing right now? Let me move away from the hourly chart. We're going to go out to the daily chart, because look at this. So if we have strong numbers coming out for, I should say strongly positive numbers coming out for inflation that we're looking for, inflation to come in low for us, increasing the likelihood of a sooner Fed rate cut. That is something that really could ease those monetary standards that we have. So where we're at right now is an inverse head and shoulders. We have a neckline coming down along here. Now, mind you, that's also part of a bigger bearish channel that we're in. So if we fail to break this neckline, we get sent back down to test out 60,000 again. And you can see before we made it all the way down to about 56,000 before we got some strong buying pressure coming back in. But if we are able to break up above this, we could easily retest 70,000 plus. So we want to be on the lookout for what's happening with Bitcoin. And like I said, determining what we get through the retail earnings, through the inflation numbers that we have this week, and also what we hear from the Fed speeches. That's a lot of catalysts coming up for us. Bitcoin is probably going to move substantially from where it's at right now. On to Enphase. Enphase, this is one that if inflation numbers come in strong, you can bet on this thing tanking pretty hard, where we have some buying pressure that come in right around that $100 mark. And this is one that if inflation comes in favorably well, that we're looking for those very soft inflation numbers, that we can probably see solar companies such as Enphase take off and finally have its golden cross moment that we just keep on getting rejected. You can see the 50 and 200 day up here in the light blue and yellow, and they just can't seem to cross each other. We just can't seem to get the price strength that we fail every time that we hit this trend line just barely above that 200 day that we have yet to see that golden cross moment. So still particularly bearish momentum. We can see consolidation, can't decide bullish or bearish, sort of trading sideways, and we don't necessarily see volume yet that implies that we're in an accumulation phase, but I think that that's going to be coming for us sooner than later. I think within the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to start seeing that. And then moving over to Tesla, also interest rate sensitive. We're going to be watching for this. Just crossed down below the 50-day. This is one that's looking relatively bearish. The RSI crossing back down below 50. We're down below the 50-day. We have the EMA crosses, the faster over the slower, crossing downward, showing that we're also in a bearish movement right now. But like I said, there's so many catalysts right now. We want to be looking for economic strength, and we were looking for inflation to move downward. Those are two different things that would help this out. And if inflation moves upward, if we hear about economic weakness, those are two things that are going to send Tesla stock downward. So be on the lookout for those and how they'll impact Tesla stock. And then finally, NVIDIA. NVIDIA has their earnings coming up 2 Wednesdays from now. So Wednesday the 22nd in the after hours of the market. I'm looking for that $1,000 price tag coming out of this, either leading up to those earnings or just following those earnings. And that window is closing quickly. If we get a significant market rally from here, that would really make that $1,000 much easier to get to, because that means that we have strong signals that we still have more punch at the party to go around. And if the market should happen to tank, that's probably going to drag this down along with it. And then it's up to earnings to really come through and salvage that sort of prediction. Now, mind you, we've had a massive run in NVIDIA right now, and what we're looking for is continued strength with the buying pressure that we would have, the continued demand for NVIDIA products and services. So guys, that's my commentary for the day. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to hear more of it, if you want to see my buys and sells and how I'm playing this market, you can do that by using the link for the Patreon down in the description. There's also a link for the technical analysis trading course that you can use to take your trading game to the next level. And guys, as always, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.